They called him a myth, a symbol, a metaphor. But what if Thoth was never meant to be a story? What if he was a system? Not just a god from Egyptian mythology, but a consciousness, a blueprint, a being who encoded the architecture of reality into symbols, sound, and time. Let's rewind the clock. Not by decades, but ages. Long before Egypt rose from the desert sands, long before the pyramids, there were teachers, time walkers, keepers of knowledge. And at the center of it all was Thoth, more than a god, the living principle of intelligence. In ancient Kemet, what we now call Egypt, Thoth was known as Jehuti, not just a deity, but the embodiment of divine mind, the one who brought writing, science, mathematics, astronomy, and magic to humanity. He wasn't worshipped as a god in the way we understand today. He was honored as a function of cosmic order. Think of Thoth not as a character, but as an interface between divine consciousness and the human mind. He was said to have written all sacred texts and recorded the Akashic memory of the universe. The Emerald Tablets, the Book of Thoth, the sacred Hermetic texts, all of it attributed to him. The timeline. They never taught you. Mainstream history teaches that Thoth emerged in Egyptian myth around 3000 BCE, but esoteric teachings and the mystery schools tell a far older story. According to the Emerald Tablets, Thoth was an Atlantean priest king, a master of energy, sound, geometry, and vibration, who came to Egypt after the fall of Atlantis to preserve the sacred knowledge. He didn't die. He moved between dimensions. He walked between worlds. He passed through death and returned, not reincarnated, but aware, intact, conscious. And here's the part no one talks about. The priests of Thoth? They weren't religious followers. They were initiates, trained in the art of remembering. Remembering what? That you too are part of the divine design. That the spark of Thoth, the cosmic mind, lives in you. Thoth's legacy. Hidden in plain sight. Look at the Eye of Horus. That's not just symbolism. It's a neuroanatomical map. It aligns perfectly with the structures of the pineal gland and thalamus. Thoth wasn't pointing you to an outside god. He was pointing you inward. Every glyph, every structure, every myth tied to him was encoded to awaken you. The ibis-headed figure, a metaphor for the frequency of precision. The moon disk, a symbol for timelessness and inner cycles, and his role as the scribe of the gods. That's not mythology. That's quantum memory, the universal recorder, the keeper of Akashic data. This is why Thoth was erased. Because knowledge isn't power. Applied, embodied knowledge is. And a world that remembers Thoth is a world that can't be controlled. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth. The Atlantean, a series of cryptic, poetic, vibrational texts, are among the most misunderstood documents in esoteric history. Most people read them like scripture, some like sci-fi, but only a few realize they are activation tools, not meant to be believed, meant to be decoded, felt, lived. And if you read them right, not with your mind, but with your field, they begin to shift you. because that's what Thoth encoded them to do. What are the emerald tablets really? According to legend, they were created from a material that could not be corrupted, not stone, not metal, not clay. A vibrational compound, something between matter and energy. They contain the memory of Atlantean consciousness, channeled through Thoth after the fall of his civilization. And while there are many texts falsely claiming to be the emerald tablets, the core teachings point to three ideas. The universe is mental. Everything is mind. Energy shaped by intention. As above, so below. The micro reflects the macro. The outer world is a mirror of your inner state. Mastery of self is mastery of the cosmos. If you control your thoughts, your frequency, your will, you control your experience of reality. This isn't religious. It's quantum spiritual engineering. Initiation. Through words. The tablets are written in a rhythm, like a frequency spell. Every word is a vibration, every line a sequence. And when spoken aloud, they do something strange. They start to resonate, not in your brain, in your aura. This is why Thoth said only the initiated could understand them. Because the mind has to be still, the ego has to dissolve. Only then does the code unlock. Some call them nonsense. Some call them New Age fantasy. But the ones who feel them, they don't call them anything. They change. The hidden teachings. Within. Let's break down what Thoth actually taught. Line by line, decoded. Man is in the process of changing to forms that are not of this world. This isn't about death. It's about ascension of vibration. Light is life, for without the great light, nothing can exist. He's not talking about sunlight. He's talking about consciousness as the primary force of all being. He who gains the knowledge of light will never taste death. Because awakening the inner light means you shift beyond the illusion of death. Know ye, O man, ye are the secret. The key to all wisdom is within thee. There is no God outside, no Savior coming. You are the portal. These aren't metaphors, they are instructions. Why this was buried. So why haven't you heard this? Why don't they teach this in schools, temples, or churches? Because if humanity knew the truth, that we're not broken, that we're not separate, that our consciousness shapes reality, then systems of control, government, religion, media, would collapse overnight. You don't need a middleman when you realize you are the source, and that is what they fear. In ancient Egypt, knowledge was not shared. It was guarded. And those who held it weren't just scholars. They were priests, initiates, guardians of codes. At the top of this system stood the House of Life, a temple said to hold the most sacred teachings of Thoth, including books that were never meant to be read, only experienced. What happened to those texts? They were hidden. Some say burned, others say taken underground, literally. Why? Because what Thoth taught was too dangerous, too empowering, too awakening. The real role of the pyramids. Forget what you've been told. Pyramids weren't tombs. There are no bodies in them, no carvings, no funerary objects, because they weren't built for the dead. They were resonance chambers, machines for consciousness. Thoth, it is said, designed the Great Pyramid himself, not as a tomb, but as a portal, a device to amplify frequency, store memory, and anchor interdimensional knowledge into the Earth grid. Even today, the Great Pyramid aligns perfectly with Orion's belt and true north, built with such precision that modern engineers can't replicate it. Coincidence? Or evidence that Thoth wasn't just a man, but a builder of dimensions? The secret priesthoods. Within the temples of Egypt, there were levels. Most never saw the inner sanctum, but those who did were trained for years, sometimes lifetimes. They practiced mental silence, astral projection, sound resonance, sacred geometry, and energy transmutation. Their purpose? To preserve the teachings of Thoth, not in libraries, but in their bodies, in their fields. These were the real mystics, and they knew the danger of their knowledge falling into the wrong hands. Because in the wrong hands, divine power becomes control. The systematic erasure. So how did we lose it all? Simple. Empires fear awakening. When Greece rose, they studied Thoth's teachings under the name Hermes Trismegistus. When Rome took over, they labeled it pagan. When Christianity rose, they called it heresy. And with every shift of power, more texts were burned, more scrolls vanished, more initiates silenced. What was once sacred knowledge became myth, then taboo, then forgotten. But nothing is ever truly lost. It just goes underground, into secret orders, whispers, symbols, dreams, and eventually into you. And if some part of you feels that remembering's starting to happen, if this isn't just information, but activation, then stay close. Tap that subscribe button, not for views, but for vibration, because we're just getting started, and what's coming next might change everything. As Egypt declined and Greece rose, something strange happened. Instead of abandoning Thoth, the mystics rebranded him. They called him Hermes Trismegistus, Hermes the thrice great, a fusion of the Greek messenger god Hermes and the Egyptian Thoth, a being so wise, so eternal, they had to name him thrice. Why? Because he was master of the three worlds, the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. This wasn't just mythology, it was strategy, a way to keep ancient teachings alive under a new mask, hidden in plain sight. What is Hermeticism really? Most think Hermeticism is some forgotten philosophy. In truth, it's a survival manual. Coded knowledge smuggled through centuries of suppression. At its core are 7 Hermetic principles, teachings not made to be worshipped, but lived. Let's break them down. The principle of mentalism. All is mind. Reality is thought. You are not in the universe. The universe is in you. The principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. You want to change the world? Change your frequency. The principle of vibration. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. Your life is a result of your energetic frequency, not luck. The principle of polarity. Opposites are the same, differing only in degree. Love and hate, 2 ends of the same stick. Mastery is learning to shift degrees. The principle of rhythm. Life moves in waves. You can't stop the tide, but you can learn to surf. The principle of cause and effect. Nothing happens by chance. Every thought, word, and deed plants a seed. The principle of gender, masculine and feminine energies, exist in all things. True creation requires balance. These aren't just ideas. They are the operating system of the universe. Why they feared Hermes more than Thoth. Thoth was worshipped in temples. Hermes was studied in secret, because by the time of Rome and the early church, empire needed obedience, not awakening. Hermetic texts were banned, burned, hidden, yet somehow they survived. Passed from mystic to mystic, through alchemists, Rosicrucians, Sufis, even Freemasons, because the knowledge couldn't be destroyed, only buried. And Hermes, he wasn't a man, he was a code, a vibration, the continuation of Thoth in a new world, under new threats. Hermetic wisdom. Today, you don't need to wear robes, chant Latin, or join secret societies to access Hermetic truth. You just need awareness. Every time you realize a pattern in your life, that's correspondence. Every time you shift your mindset and your reality changes, that's mentalism. Every time you ride an emotional wave without drowning, that's rhythm. You've already been using the principles. You just didn't have a name for them. Now you do, and that's where power begins. The emerald tablets say something strange. Then raised I high over the entrance, a doorway, a gateway leading down to Amenti. Deep in the earth, I built my chamber, placed in it guards so the secrets might be held. This isn't poetic symbolism. It's a map, a portal, a dimensional technology designed to allow conscious travel beyond death, without losing memory, awareness, or identity. Amenti, the city beneath time. Thoth claimed to travel to a realm called Amenti, a place beneath earth, not metaphorically, but literally. A realm outside of linear time, where the souls of the awakened rest and recalibrate. He called it the Hall of Records, a place where not only knowledge is stored, but souls are preserved. There, Thoth said he would rest, not die, and return when called to reawaken truth during times of darkness. Sound familiar? The prophecy matches countless traditions. The hidden Imam in Shia Islam, the sleeping king in Arthurian myth, the return of the Golden One in African prophecy. They're not different stories. They're echoes of the same being. Conscious reincarnation, memory without amnesia. Most souls reincarnate blindly. They forget. They repeat. They learn slowly. But Thoth, he chose his rebirths. He returned with full memory, full power, full mission. He moved through dimensions by will. This is the true meaning of master of time. Not a clock, not a calendar, but the flow of experience itself. The emerald tablets say, "Time has no meaning where life is eternal. I dwell in the light where nothing is shadow." He didn't defeat death. He made it optional. And those who studied his path, not worshipped, but practiced, began to remember how to do the same. Why this was hidden? Imagine a world where humans didn't fear death, where they knew their soul could travel at will, where knowledge didn't vanish with the body, where awakening was more than an idea, it was a skill set. Such a world would need no rulers, no churches, no fear. That's why Thoth had to be erased. Not because he was dangerous, but because he proved that you are eternal. And if people remembered that, the system collapses overnight. Most people think of pyramids as wonders, beautiful, mysterious, impressive. But what if they're not wonders? What if they're technology? What if Thoth didn't just bring writing? He brought planetary architecture, a global grid of sacred geometry designed to hold and amplify consciousness. That's what the Emerald Tablets imply. That Thoth didn't just teach, he engineered the earth. The grid nobody talks about. Look at the world's megalithic structures. The Great Pyramid of Giza, Stonehenge, Teotihuacan, Angkor, Wat, Machu Picchu. They're all located on key nodal points of what's been called the Earth's energy grid, or more specifically, the ley lines. These aren't just geological coincidences. They're intentional placements, forming a vast global network of electromagnetic and spiritual resonance. And who was behind their design? According to many mystery schools, Thoth, or the beings he trained. He didn't just write texts, he coded the planet. The Great Pyramid, more than stone. We touched on this earlier, but now let's go deeper. The Great Pyramid is aligned to true north with 0.05 degree accuracy, the golden ratio, and pi, the constellation of Orion. It contains chambers that resonate at specific sound frequencies, shafts that align with star systems, geometric ratios matching Earth's curvature. No tomb, no body, no carvings, because it was never a tomb. It's a consciousness amplifier, a light anchor, a dimensional interface, and the one who encoded its math, sound, and light? You already know his name. The role of geometry. Thoth taught that the universe is not built from matter, but from frequency, vibration, and form. Geometry was not art, it was language. The triangle represents creation, the circle, eternity, the spiral, evolution, the cube, embodiment. He used geometry to encode laws of the universe into physical space, so that anyone walking through those structures would unconsciously remember. Because space itself can awaken memory. A hidden network beneath us. Some say Thoth placed crystal nodes beneath key temples. Others say the Ark of the Covenant was one such node, a capacitor of divine current. But all traditions agree on this. He created a grid to stabilize Earth during shifts, to assist awakened souls in travel, to protect higher knowledge from corruption. And some believe this grid is reawakening. Solar flares, magnetic anomalies, mass awakenings. They're not random. The Earth is stirring. And Thoth's grid, the light net he left behind, is activating. For thousands of years, Thoth's teachings were whispered, protected, buried, but never gone. Because he didn't leave a religion, he left a frequency, and that frequency has been activating slowly, one dream at a time, one question at a time, one awakening at a time. I will return when darkness covers the earth. The Emerald Tablets include a line Thoth speaks directly to us. Long dwelt I in the temple of the dweller, until at last I was freed by the dweller. Now I go to the halls of Amenti, leaving behind this world for a time. But hear me, O man, I will return. This wasn't metaphor. He wasn't speaking to ancient priests. He was speaking to this generation, to those who came encoded with memory, to those who feel different, who see through the illusion, who ask questions no one else dares to voice. You are not a follower. You are a node in the awakening. The rise of the new scribes. In ancient times, Thoth chose scribes, beings who carried his codes through text, symbol, sound. Today, those scribes look different. They're writing online, in books, in film. They're building conscious tech. They're healing trauma in others. They're creating art that vibrates truth. They're not wearing robes. They're not in temples. They're disguised as ordinary people, but their field hums with memory. They carry a resonance that shakes people, that makes others say, something about you feels ancient. That's the Thoth code. Synchronicities and activations. Have you noticed the signs? Seeing the eye of Horus randomly. Feeling pulled to Egypt without knowing why. Encountering sacred geometry in your dreams. Getting chills when you hear his name. These aren't coincidences. They're activations. Moments where your soul says, wake up. You've been here before. It's time. And when enough of these nodes activate, a new grid of consciousness begins to form, not under pyramids, but through people. The return was never physical. Here's the twist. Thoth isn't coming back in a body. He never left. His essence spread like a seed code, planted in the DNA of millions, waiting for the right moment to sprout. Not everyone will awaken, but those who do will remember that they didn't come to follow. They came to build, to speak, to ignite, not just for themselves, but for all. You weren't just here to learn this. You were here to wake up to it. Because if you felt something stir inside you while watching this video, a shiver, a memory, a sense of, I already knew this, that wasn't coincidence. That was recognition. You've always carried the code, the frequency, the spark. You just needed the key to unlock it. And Thoth? He was never a myth. He was a mirror to show you what you've always been. You are the tablet. Now, the emerald tablets were never about the stone. They were never meant to sit in temples. They were always meant to become you. You are the sacred text now. Your life is the glyph. Your choices, the words, your vibration, the ink. And when you speak truth, you write new realities into existence. This isn't poetic. It's mechanical. It's how the universe actually works. You're not manifesting. You're coding, just like he did. A choice must be made. Now that you remember, what will you do? Forget and scroll on? Or start living like someone who knows too much to pretend anymore? Because once you remember this, you can't go back. You can't pretend you're ordinary. You can't play small. You can't ignore the call. And the universe? It's watching your field, not your face. It doesn't care what you say you want. It cares what you're ready to hold. So, are you ready? What if you've never been seeking truth? What if you were always the guardian of it, just waiting to remember your own light? And if that's true, what else have you forgotten about who you are? Let me know in the comments, not because I need replies, but because speaking truth out loud is how we activate others. And if this video changed something inside you, don't stop here. Go deeper. Pick another doorway, another code, another piece of yourself waiting to be unlocked. This was never just about Thoth. It was about you. Welcome back, scribe.